Okay, so Friday night, you're craving KBBQ, right?
Yeah.
You know, that smoky grill smell,
Yeah.
endless banchan, piles
Yeah.
of meat.
Works.
Exactly.
Hmm?
But then you remember Gen Korean BBQ 5,000 Yelp reviews.
Mhm.
Is it worth the hype, the wait, and like what about those reviews mentioning bugs?
Oh, yeah.
Decisions. Don't worry, that's why we're here, diving into Gen Korean BBQ in Northridge, California.
You know what's wild about 5,000 reviews? It's not just the star rating, it's the sheer volume. Like, that many experiences, good and bad, it's a gold mine.
Okay, so how do we even begin to sort through that? How do we help our listener decide if Jen is a go for it?
We look for those patterns, recurring themes that tell us what to really expect. Jen's got a solid 4.1 stars, so it's clearly doing something right. We need to figure out what keeps people coming back, but also what leads to those less glowing reviews.
Yeah, got to be objective. So let's start positive. Scrolling through, there's a lot of love for the fun vibe. Shout outs to specific servers, always a good sign. And people gushing over the Hawaiian steak and pork belly.
Right. Classic KBBQ done right.
Totally. So Jen seems to nail that core KBBQ experience. Quality meat, lively atmosphere, and when it's good, attentive service.
Yeah, those are the fundamentals, the things that make people willing to put up with crowds and waits.
Speaking of crowds, that's where things get interesting. Lots of praise for service, but also this theme of inconsistency. Some rave about specific servers, others mention long waits, even on weekdays.
That's tough consistency with a big staff, the fast pace of AYCE. It's a real challenge.
For sure. And it's not just service. Some reviewers, especially longtime fans, mention a dip in quality lately. Smaller portions, pressure to upgrade to the premium menu. Someone even said, greasy premium meats, and I quote.
Interesting. We're seeing this premium trend everywhere now, even AYC, as places deal with rising food costs. Smaller portions, upselling. It's a tough balance to strike.
So is Jen sacrificing quality for profit? And ultimately, is it still worth it? We'll tackle that right after this. Okay, so we've got this image of Jen as like classic KBBQ, right? Lots of potential, but maybe some things to watch out for, like inconsistent service, maybe some cost cutting. But is it a deal breaker? Well, there's one more thing, and it's a doozy.
The salad beetle.
You already know. This is where things
Wow.
get interesting. Or like kind of gross, honestly. This review from Cat M, it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about like how powerful one single experience can be.
Totally. Doesn't matter how many people rave about the Hawaiian steak or whatever, a bad experience, especially one as vivid as a bug in your salad, that sticks with you.
Big time. And Cat M does not hold back.
Yeah.
Stiffy table, long wait, beetle just chilling in the salad. She paints a picture.
Not a pretty one.
Definitely not. And here's the thing, it's not even just the beetle itself, it's how they dealt with it, you know?
Yeah, that's crucial. Anyone who's worked in a restaurant, you know mistakes happen, but it's how you respond that matters.
100%. And like offering her a fresh salad from the same source probably just makes it worse. Makes you wonder if they even care.
It really shows how important it is for businesses, especially food, to have like systems for dealing with this stuff, a real apology, a real attempt to make it right, you know? Even something small can go a long way.
Totally. Show the customer you care, even when you mess up. Okay, so we've talked about the good, the bad, the buggy. We've got all these Yelp reviews, and they paint like a complicated picture of Jen.
Right. So how do we boil this down to something useful for our listeners? To Jen or not to Jen?
The $1,000,000 question, or like the very expensive question, since it's all you can eat.
Very true. I think it comes down to this Gen Korean BBQ. It's a gamble. Could be amazing. The food, by all accounts, can be great, and that whole atmosphere is part of it. But you got to be ready for some bumps, whether it's the service, the food, maybe even, yeah, the salad bar.
So how do you know if you're the kind of person who's down to roll those dice? I guess, are you someone who like needs things to be predictable, where consistency is like the most important thing?
Yeah. Or are you okay with a little chaos? Like you see those hiccups as part of the fun.
Exactly. If you're someone who loves that energy, that anything could happen vibe, Jen might be perfect.
Totally. But if you're after something more like predictable, more consistently good, maybe check out some of those other places Yelp mentions.
Right, like MGD, Hanu.
Yeah, those could be safer bets.
It's like choose your own KBBQ adventure.
And speaking of, this whole thing got me thinking, how much power do we give online reviews? I mean, Cat M, that's intense. But is one beetle, like, enough to write a place off completely? That's the question, right? We have so much information now, reviews everywhere. But we have to figure out how to use it. How much weight to give one person's experience versus, like, the overall picture.
It's about finding that balance,
Right.
Being informed, but not, like, completely overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Because let's be real, every restaurant, even the best, is going to have an off night. A grumpy customer, maybe even a stray vegetable here and there.
It happens.
It's about knowing what matters most to you and finding a place that fits.
Couldn't agree more. Do your research, read between the lines, and honestly, trust your gut.
That's the best advice, your own KBBQ compass, courtesy of The Deep Dive. We explored the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, and yes, even the buggy, all to help you navigate the glorious, often chaotic world of Gen Korean BBQ.
And hey, whether you're a KBBQ expert or just starting out, there's always something new to discover.
So get out there, check out those menus, enjoy the sizzle, and tell us about it. Share your adventures, favorite spots, even your own bug encounters. We want to hear it all. Until next time, happy eating.